because you're spending 2 minutes just to spin up the virtual machine, and then you spend 5 minutes, you're done with the homework assignment. So the overhead is actually 40% of the time that you need to do the homework assignment. But a normal person typically would take an hour or two to do the homework assignment. And I don't think, even inside this virtual machine, even though it's slow, I don't think it can out-hype it. So I think it's still okay. I think it's still a practical solution. And the advantage, once again, is you can run it from a thumb drive. And you can plug that thumb drive to any Windows machine and be able to do your homework assignment. So there are trade-offs. This way has these advantages and disadvantages. It all depends on how you want to set up your homework machine. Okay, maybe it's 20 times lower. So in this case, whether you use USB 2.0, 3.0, external hard drive, or thumb drive makes very little difference, because it's the emulation engine itself that is inefficient. Getting there. There is a way to suspend it too, but QEMU doesn't give you the nice GUI interface to do suspension. So if you want to do suspension, you have to kind of drop down to the console of QEMU, which can get kind of confusing. And since this is all being recorded, someone can actually give me a time, like okay, VMware Player takes this much time, and then QEMU takes this much time. All right, we are now in the virtual machine, and now you can start to do your homework assignment. So it works exactly the same way. When you're inside the virtual machine, and you want to shut down, you just log in as root. Type in the password of root, and then execute power off to basically turn off the virtual machine. Are there any questions at this point? I think there was one person who was trying to get VirtualBox to work with this file. I'm still, in the process of, getting that done at home. There's a little bit of a hiccup. I cannot, I don't quite know where it is, so I'm still working on that solution. But I know VMware Player works. We just demonstrated that. We also know QEMU definitely works. So, you have two options already, just using virtual machine. Any questions? Yep.
Saving files or working on files and saving them, how do you access them?
Very good. That's a good question. That's very thinking ahead of time. Okay, the question is, after we do the homework assignment, we have all the files. How do we get those files out of the virtual machine? That's a very good question. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to do that demonstration now, because I think eventually we have to talk about that topic. So I'm going to start this time, but instead of starting just start VM, I'm going to use another batch file, which is called start VM SSH, because this one has port forwarding already enabled for SSH, or secure shell. Okay. And for those of you who are interested, you can actually just right-click and click edit. Oh, it's not letting me edit it. Come on, I want to just. Okay, let's go
That's
edit
right.
with.
It's right. If you hit run, it'll run Notepad.
Oh, it will run Notepad?
Mm-hmm.
There we go. So the only difference is, in this case, I specify the networking options to do port forwarding, and I'm forwarding a local. Okay, I'm forwarding the local port of 2222 to port 22 of the virtual machine. So this part is kind of really important. If you have port 2222 already taken up on the local host, you will have to select another number. Okay, 2223, 2220, whatever you want to pick. Okay. All right. So that's the only difference between the two batch files. So I'm going to start this up again, and obviously wait another 2 minutes. Okay, let's start the timer. All right. So before we actually go ahead and do it, the answer is to use WinFTP, FileZilla, or one of those utility programs to basically SFTP into the virtual machine and move files around like that. But I do want to demonstrate to the topic of how to do it. So That's a good question. Very good question. All right. Yes.
What if we put this file, like, we have an FTP server at home, and we put this file on that server?
It will be able to access whatever the host environment can access, because to go into the virtual machine, you have to do something special. But from inside the virtual machine to go to the internet, you don't have to do anything special. Good question. Any other questions? Any other questions? All right. And somebody was also asking me how to use the live ISO image and be able to save files using the persistence feature. So I can demonstrate that too. Is anyone still interested in using the live ISO image, after these two options? Okay, so you're still interested? Okay, a few people. Sorry? It works? Okay. All right. Well, when it's doing this, I'll go to some other websites to get WinSCP. And I think I have a link here to WinSCP and also PuTTY, because those are the two programs that will be quite useful when you do your homework assignment. And these two are pointing to portable versions of these programs too, which also means you can download and install these on the thumb drive and be able to run both PuTTY and WinSCP from a thumb drive. And it really helps if you're using the QEMU approach, because then everything is on your thumb drive. Okay, the emulator is on the thumb drive, the virtual machine is on the thumb drive, so are the other tools that you need for your homework assignment. They're all on the thumb drive. So in this case, I'm going to use WinSCP. Just open a new tab because I don't want to lose the other one. Oh, I clicked that already. All right, so download. So when you install a portable application, you just have to tell it which drive you want to install it to. All right, so this is already here. I can go to the account user. The password of user is user, so this is something that we're not going to use the user account anyway. This is the installer, running. So when you run the installer, you have to tell it where you want to install it. And in this case, the default is not really the best location. You want to pick your thumb drive. In this case, I don't have a thumb drive. I'll just pick the D drive, kind of pretend it as my thumb drive. So click OK, click install, and finish. Okay, so now I'm inside, the user account, the user called user. All I will do is I will create a, test file. So just use, touch will do it. Touch test.txt. I'm just creating an empty file in this case. To run WinSCP as a portable application, you go to the drive that you have it installed. In this case, it's the D drive. And you look for WinSCP portable. Double-click it. You will find the executable WinSCP portable.exe. Just double-click it. It will start right up. Now, we are using SFTP, or WinSCP is based on SFTP. The host name is going to be
27.0.0.1.
Yep, 127.0.0.1 or localhost. Okay, they mean exactly the same thing. So depending on whether you like to use the numeric pad or type in localhost, pick either one. Now port number is important. It's not port 22. It's port 2222 because WinSCP is only connecting to the host side, not to the client side. Yep.
This is stock Linux Debian.
Right.
This is just a stock Debian root device there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty much all stock. It doesn't even have all the tools that we need for this stock installed. So you guys will have to do actually to install all the additional packages.
Okay.
It has the room to do it. I just have not pre-installed everything.
So we can use our own script we want to see then?
Absolutely. You just have to make sure that you use a 386 or 32-bit distribution. And other than that, Debian Ubuntu, Fedora, they should all work fine. All right, so localhost port 2222, and I'm using the user account, and the user password is user also, and I click login, and it'll give you a message and then say the service host key was not found in the cache, and click yes. And now we have WinSCP running. WinSCP divides the screen into two halves. It actually has an alternate mode. Instead of looking like this, it can look just like a Windows Explorer. You can drag and drop the files. In this case, the left-hand side is the host side, which is my Windows environment, and then the right-hand side is the virtual machine environment. And you can see that the file that I just created earlier is already here. So I can drag it to the other side, or drag something from this side to the other side to transfer the files. This also means that when you turn in homework assignment, it is one extra step to turn in your homework, because you have to move the files from the virtual machine into the host environment first, and then turn it in through the Moodle interface. Okay, so it's just one little step more. Okay, once you know how to use WinSCP, it's not really that big of a deal. All it means is you don't want to wait until the very, very, very last second to do your homework. Just give yourself another minute or two to transfer the file over. Are there any questions about this particular step, using WinSCP to transfer files?
What was the username and password?
You're going to create a new account
Okay.
anyway, so so this is just for testing purposes. All right. Any other questions? No other questions? Okay. Just one more thing. WinSCP is useful for transferring files, but I would also suggest you to install or get PuTTY. How many people already know what PuTTY is? Okay. I'm going to have to mention it anyway, because some people may not know what PuTTY is. PuTTY is a dumb terminal program. It's a terminal emulation program that also connects to SSH or Secure Shell. Okay, so we have, I'm going to run the installer. I think it's running. Yep, there you go. All right. So we'll go ahead and install it on the D drive too, just to pretend that the D drive is my thumb drive, my removable drive. So we go install. It's all done. It's a really tiny, small program, so it doesn't take much time to install. So now I can go to the D drive. And okay. So just have to back up one level, go to the D drive, go to PuTTY Portable. Double-click puttyportable.exe, and it opens up an interface that looks very similar to the WinSCP interface, and that's because those two programs are related. I think PuTTY came first, and then WinSCP shared the code base of PuTTY. That's why the interface looks very similar. And once again, we have to select localhost as the host name, port 2222, because that's how we set up the port forwarding. If you don't want anything fancy, this will work. Okay. If you want something fancy, you can also go to Appearance, change the font size. You can do a lot of stuff to customize everything, and you can save it as your own profile, so you don't have to re-specify everything next time you run PuTTY. So it will give me the same question here, about the remote key, login as user, and the password is user2. So now I have another terminal, another session, another command line interface into the virtual machine. So the next question is, why do I want to run PuTTY when I have the console already? You can look at these two, and they are pretty much the same thing. They're both command line interfaces. This is QEN